Good morning, YouTube. This is Mitch. This is my little beta fish. His name is Sushi. He's waiting for me to feed him. This is his little bowl. It's full of plants. He's about 2 years old. He's pretty awesome. He's got like a really nice color. It's hard to capture on camera, the red against the green, but I'm gonna give him some of his little pellets. Yeah, get it. I don't know what that floating plant is on top, but it's pretty cool. It has like these little lily pad leaves and it spreads like crazy. I have to actually scoop half of it out every once in a while, and it totally takes over the top of the bowl, and the roots grow in there and clean the water. And I change the water out every week or two. And actually it's just growing under a normal light bulb. I know it's hard to see, but it's in this little dark corner in the room. Anyway, today I'm going to do a little video about potting up some Pleione bulbs, because I got a bunch at the Vancouver Orchid Show this last weekend. I got some new Pleione formosanas. I got this nice pink one, and there's this like whiter version too, and they're like ready to go. So I'm gonna pot them up today, just show you guys what I do when I pot up Pleiones, and yeah. Alright, bear with me here because I just woke up. It's my one day off this week to do things that I enjoy, so I need to pot these Pleiones today. The first ones I'm going to work on are these ones. It's a white form of Pleione formosana. So I got them all out of the bag. They look like this. And they're ready to go. Whoops. See, they're so long. It's so easy to break these off. They're just about to flower. And you can see here that here, let's see if I can focus that. They got the roots starting to come, so it's hard to get it to focus here, but these little white things are the roots, so they're pretty much ready to go. I'm just gonna stick them in a pot and put them outside somewhere nice and dry. So you need a pot, obviously. And what I do to cover up the drain holes in the pot is I just like rip a little piece of paper towel and I just stick it in there, because paper towel is pretty porous and it'll let the water through but hold in all the dirt and stuff. Like, I don't like it when you pot something up and then you water it and all the water and stuff run out the bottom. So this kind of keeps everything together the way you put it in the pot and holds it in there, but it kind of dissolves over the course of the summer. So next thing I do is I just take some fir bark. This is like a medium grade fir bark, and I put a nice layer in the bottom of the pot. This is like makes good drainage in the bottom. Pleiones like grow in really well drained soil, so I just put not even an inch, it's like 3/4 of an inch, just a nice layer of the bark in there. And then what I do is I have a big thing of moss here. It's like a big sphagnum moss. You can buy it in these giant cubes, and then I got this little container at Home Depot, and then I fill this whole thing up with water and just let the sphagnum kind of absorb the water, and then I dump all of the water out. and then it's moist and ready to use. And then I take some perlite and I put like a layer of sphagnum on top of the bark, and then I put like a bunch of perlite in there. Because what I want in the bottom of here is something that's really airy and light, but something that also holds moisture. So that's my little base layer. Then I put another layer of the medium grade fir bark again, and I do it again. I do a little layer of sphagnum moss, a little bit more moss this time, and I kind of tamp it down, and then I put a nice thicker layer of perlite again, so like it's all covered, but then I kind of squish it in there with my fingers, and then I take, this is like a fine fir bark and it has some perlite in it too, and I take a handful and I just do a layer so that it covers up all of that perlite. So at this point the pot is about 3/4 full, and it has a nice layer of bark, and it's, you know, this really well draining yet moisture retentive mix in the bottom. Now I'll do like the top layer. So for the top layer, I actually use this. It's like a cactus and succulent mix, and I think it's basically just peat moss and sand, whatever they use for cactus, and I just take a couple of handfuls and throw it in the bowl here. And then I take some just like regular potting soil, and this is probably the same. It's probably like peat moss and perlite and some more organic matter, and I just do, so I do like 1 handful of potting soil and 2 handfuls of the cactus mix, and I kind of mix it all up in the bowl, and then I just throw all that on top, so that the top third of the pot is like soil. But I want it to be about 1/2 inch from the top of the rim of the pot, so it should look something like this. And now I'll get close, I'll show you what I do here. I just take these little bulbs here, and I kind of just nestle them into the top of the earth. And I kind of, you can see most of these have like 2 growing tips, so I kind of want to put them so they're not all facing the same direction. I'm trying to spread them out so that they'll have enough room to grow, and the flowers will all face in different directions. And it's okay to like move them around. You got to do this before the roots get too long, because otherwise if you break the roots, I don't think Pleiones grow their roots back, so there's a risk of losing the bulbs. Okay. So that looks about right. You can see they're all planted and they're all facing in different directions, and they have a little bit of room to grow, and they're all kind of nestled in there. So now, this is what I do at the end. I just take this fine orchid bark and I just kind of top up the soil with it, so that they're like these Pleiones, actually the bulbs are kind of flat, but a lot of Pleiones, they're a little bit more pointy. So I don't know if it's just the way they grew these ones or it's the variety, but these ones will look like they're a little bit buried, but you know, this bark dries pretty quick, so it's like a quick drying layer on top. It's basically just there so that when I water, it doesn't splash all the dirt out, and it's kind of like in the summertime will act like a bit of a mulch for them. Okay, so at the end it's gonna look like this. Let's see if I can focus this. Yeah. And you can see all of these already have flower buds, so these should bloom in the next week. Like once I put them in some bright light with warm temperatures, they'll bloom pretty quick. Here's some bigger ones that I was doing. So this is a bigger pot, but I think these are Pleione orchid, and it's a bigger pot, but it's the same thing. I did the same thing with the layers, and now you can see they're sitting on top in that dirt layer. And then here's the rest of the bulbs. So as I was saying, like the Pleiones I'm used to, they're kind of more pointy. Those other ones were kind of flat, so you can stick these in the dirt like that, and they kind of sit like little onions on top of the soil, and I just like stick them in same way, just kind of like the bottom, because you can see where the growing tip is coming out, so I just kind of try to set them in so that the bottom of that growing tip is in the dirt, sitting in the dirt, because that's where all the new roots are going to come from. And you can see they're kind of, see how wobbly some of them are, because I don't want to bury them. I just want them to sit there. And then that's the other thing with putting the extra layer of the bark on top, is that it kind of holds them steady. So when I top it in with soil, here, let's see those wobbly ones right here. Once I kind of cover them with a little bit of bark, not even cover them, just kind of, there, see, this one stopped wiggling. This one's still wiggling like crazy, but so I'll just go like surround it with a little bit of bark. See? I'm shaking it, it stopped. Because I don't want those wiggling around too much when they're trying to grow roots. Like I said, you don't want the roots to break. Woo! These ones are a little bit further behind, obviously. I don't know why. I think I put them in the fridge late in the fall, and so I'm just taking them out of the fridge now because it's starting, like spring has sprung here on the west coast. So I have other ones that are actually blooming outside. I'll do a little video of them at the end of this they're blooming now. So yeah, I'll end this video with that. Hold on one sec. Okay, so here we are in the sink, and this is my little pot that we just potted up, and I'm just gonna take a spray bottle and I'm gonna wet all the top of the bark. Just give it a really good spray. And oops, actually I don't want any of that bark to kind of come out, so I'm just going to do a little, like, run the water slowly on the top. I just want to kind of make sure that that soil and bark and everything is wet and in place. And just let that really drain. See the paper towel? See that? Nice clear water. I hate when you put all this time and energy into setting up a pot like this and then you see dirt running out the bottom of the pot. That's not what I want to see. I just want to see the water. I want everything to stay in there exactly how I arranged it. Anyway, so like I said, the most important part now is to not water them. Leave them alone. For me, that's really hard. I really like watering plants and kind of puttering around them. So I'm going to just leave these alone. I've learned my lesson over the last few years and just let them kind of do their thing. Okay, so the final step is just to put them outside. So this is a nice spot here. It's a spot that gets nice sunshine in the morning and the early afternoon. And it's in a nice overhang so it won't get too wet. Just to give you an idea of how dry it is, you can see my prickly pear cactus is here. It's been out here all winter and it is dry, 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 even though it's raining right now. Look at this beautiful, it's like a kind of rainy, overcast spring day. My favorite kind of day in the spring. And all the spring flowers are blooming here on the patio. And I have a couple of Pleiones. This is Pleione formosana. And I got these at the Victoria Orchid Show a few weeks ago. So they're blooming. They got a little bit wet last night from the rain. But these ones actually, they look kind of like sulky. Not my favorite. There's other ones that the blooms open and they're quite nice and open. These ones are kind of like saggy. But anyway, I might just plant these somewhere in the actual garden and see if they survive the winter, because I don't care whether they live or die, to be honest. But anyway, hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.